My dear Danish students, let me present myself. I'm Marcos Lima. I'm professor at EMLV Paris, and I'm honored and privileged to be able to um, present to you a case study that I co-wrote with a friend and a colleague here in Paris a couple of years ago about Apple stores and Microsoft stores. You've probably read the case by now, so I'm here to actually tell you what I expect you to do with the case and what are the questions I need to work with you for our upcoming visit in early October, when we're going to discuss this case and when you're going to use this case as part of your innovation challenge at your business school. So basically, I want you to focus on three issues, three questions about the case. As you can see, Apple stores have established a benchmark that's hardly that's probably one of the most successful cases of retail innovations and service innovations in the past few years. So it's be hard to argue that this concept can be improved considerably. On the other hand, Microsoft, which does not have stores in Europe but has started a large scale operation of opening stores in the US, needs your help to establish a differentiation strategy that will actually be consistent with Microsoft's identity, whereas also benefiting from Apple's core innovations in terms of customer service, in terms of efficiency, in terms of user experience. So I want you to think in terms of three questions, which I'm going to send you written. I'm just in a written format. I'm just going to comment on each one of those. The first question I want you to think about is, based on what you have learned in the case study and the web sources available, identify concrete examples of how Apple successfully developed the extended marketing mix variables. Of course, you know I'm talking here about people, physical evidence or presentation, and then process. I want you to think about each one of these variables, and I want you to go back to the case study and try to identify examples of how Apple did a good job of playing up each one of those components, the people components, the physical evidence components, and the process component. Can you find examples of how they use the genius elements appropriately? How they in the people components? Are there other examples of how the people component was used to create customer experience? What are some of the remarkable process innovations that Apple created, and what are the physical evidence or presentation elements that Apple worked in their store? So you can look up more about the extended marketing mix components in your bibliography. I'm sure you can look up Kotler, and if you browse services marketing, you're going to find a lot of literature about that. I want to look at Apple's case as a benchmark for these three variables. Then I want you to move on to the second question, which is the following. Again, you'll get this in written, so don't worry about writing it down right now. Discuss Apple's enriching people's lives motto. How can you translate this phrase into specific elements of its positioning? Draw alternative positioning maps that compare Apple and Microsoft in terms of key differentiating attributes. What I want you to do here is to think of this enriching people's lives phrase in two variables. What are the two key variables that are being used here to differentiate Apple's experience? And I want you, once you've come up with the two attributes that are behind enriching people's lives idea, I want you to try to do something similar for Microsoft. What could be Microsoft's attributes that could create a slogan for Microsoft stores that would differentiate them and position them with a unique identity as compared to Apple. This is, of course, a preliminary step for dealing with the third question, which is the most important question and the longest question, which will require you to work most intensely, which is the following third question. As seen in the case, some commentators feel that Microsoft has gone too far copying Apple's style. Suggest a stronger differentiation strategy with a clear positioning map based on two key attributes that distinguish them from Apple. And of course, you're going to use the previous positioning map from question number 2 to do this. Then, using the extended marketing mix variables, create an alternative design to Microsoft stores that could enhance customer experience around Microsoft products and reinforce that positioning and brand identity. For the sake of this exercise, be as innovative as possible while remaining realistic. So basically, your job is to take the three elements of the extended marketing mix: people, presentation or physical evidence, and process, and you're going to suggest how Microsoft can change each one of those to create a unique experience or to reinforce the positioning you chose for Microsoft on the second question, to reinforce the two differentiating attributes, and then come up with your solution. Of course, your solution is going to be compared to other groups. The most creative, the most innovative, but also realistic, feasible, consistent solutions will be probably the ones that the juries will prefer. I wish you good luck with this challenge. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Copenhagen in a few weeks. So be innovative. See you next time. Bye.